Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name's Garrett, and today we are going to be fishing a high-altitude lake. It's one of my favorite lakes over in Central Oregon, and I'll kind of talk about what we're targeting today, what my gear is, how the fishing went, conditions, things like that, to hopefully help you, next time you're out on the water, have a similar experience that I did on this trip. This trip, fishing was awesome. I want to say I caught 20 or 30 fish throughout the day, so I caught a whole bunch of fish, mostly on the setup we're seeing here right now. So let's talk about that. So this rod is my Echo Stillwater 10-foot 6-weight. It is my favorite Stillwater rod I use. The reel is the Orvis Clearwater Cassette. And the line you see me stretching right there is the Airflo 6 Sense 2 Intermediate Fast. And that is my favorite Stillwater line by far and away. I love this line. It catches more fish than any of my other lines combined. So if I had to have one, you're looking at it. And the reason why I go through and stretch my line, especially towards the back end of that line, is specifically so that when I strip the line into my stripping apron that I have on my float tube, it doesn't end up knotting on itself. So what you're going to see me doing right here, kind of in the intro, and you're going to see me kind of do it throughout the video. There's a little bit of trolling that happens. It's kind of inevitable with float tubes. You kind of end up trolling as you kind of kick around. But I try to reduce that as much as possible. But my feeling is, going from spot to spot, there's no real reason not to just have your flies in the water. So I'm just kind of kicking around, letting the line kind of spit out, and we'll just kind of see what happens with it all. So the other rod that I use on this trip, and you can sometimes see it in frame, is my Echo Lago 10-foot 6-weight. And that is my second favorite Stillwater rod. It is great. It's a great entry-level Stillwater rod. It kind of takes you past that first entry-level rod you may ever have. And if you find yourself fishing a lot of lakes and a lot of still waters, and you want to up your game, that Lago is a great first step. It was my first step. My next rod was the Echo Stillwater. So you saw I just missed a fish right there. Sometimes it happens when you're not paying attention. Like I'm not. I'm kind of looking around. I was supposed to meet a couple people up here. I only had one person meet me up here at this lake when I was fishing it this day, which is really fun to have other people to kind of fish around and fish near. Again, I missed another fish, so that is giving me high hopes. Not only did I hook a fish, I hooked two fish, kind of right off the bat. So, and you can see when you stretch your line like that, it allows you to cast a lot further. So instead of trolling as much, I kind of start slowing down, and the minimal wind is what's going to kind of push me around out here. But more to kind of talk about what we're targeting in this lake is rainbows and brookies. They stock this lake with rainbows, but there's a lot of holdover fish. Today, the day that I was there, was the day the first stocking trucks actually showed up, which was kind of cool. But it didn't make fishing any better for me. Didn't make it any worse, but it definitely didn't add anything to it. So don't just take that as a definite thing that the stocking truck was there, you're going to catch a lot of fish. I've had that happen a few times now, and I really haven't noticed a huge difference. So I mentioned the rod that I'm using now, and I mentioned the other rod, but the other rod also has a Orvis Clearwater Cassette on it, but the line that I use on that rod is the Airflo Superflo floating line. It's their Stillwater floater, and I'll fish underneath an indicator for a little bit during this day because I catch a lot of fish pulling flies, and so I kind of want to mix it up. I only catch a handful of fish underneath an indicator, so. But it's really fun. So more to talk about in this. The flies that I have on my setup, I think I have a Dialbach, like a black Dialbach on at this point, but I think the flies that I end up sitting with for most of the day is a blank saver. They sometimes call them a vampire leech, but I do mine with an orange bead sometimes. This lake in particular, the fish like leeches with orange beads, so I have one of those on. I have Landon Myers micro leech. as my middle dropper, and as my point fly, I have a blob sunburst. And spoiler alert, I think, as far as pulling flies, I think all but 3 fish come on that blob. They love the blob. I get a double later in the video because the fish just can't stop. And so I really have found that blob can be a day maker for a lot of things. Underneath on the indicator setup, I have 2 balanced leeches, one all over the chartreuse bead, and I think one black with an orange bead, and they both get eaten in this video. I think I only catch 2 or 3 fish underneath an indicator, nothing crazy. I think that kind of covers the intro with everything we're doing here. Sit back and enjoy the video. I'm hoping the wind noise and my huffing and puffing isn't too distracting. I think catching plenty of fish also helps too. I'll kind of pop in here and interject when I want to bring in some more information to what's going on. Alright, so this next clip that you're going to see here is I got my first fish, and it's a decent fish. It's like a 14-incher, which is perfect for a throat sample. So you'll see me get out my throat pump here. I kind of clean it out and lubricate it a little bit with some water. And then the goal here is to kind of gently grab the fish, stick the throat pump down until you hit a bump, let the bulb suck everything in, and then I like to get the fish ready to go almost as soon as I get my throat sample. So once the material is kind of sucked into the bulb, it just stays there. You can see I've set down my throat pump. I'm pulling out my little vial to put the contents in, and it was a very full throat pump. So super gross there because this fish had a couple big old leeches in him. And so that's a really good sign that the fish are active and they're feeding. There's a couple chironomids in there too as well. Some kind of chromy colored chironomids. I probably could have fished that day, and looking back at it now, if I really want to get better as a stillwater angler, it'd be fish something like a midge tip maybe and fish some chromies kind of on a washing line setup. But throat samples are really important. I do a couple throughout the video. I don't show them all, but I showed this one. I think I show one more. But it kind of gives you an idea of how you can figure out what to use and what not to use when you're on the water. It just takes one fish to learn a lot of really good information. So
oh gosh. Oh.
blob again. It's the third fish on it. What was that?
First fish?
Third.
What do you at depth wise?
Type 2 intermediate. And I got a tungsten bead fly, a no bead fly, and a blob. And they've ate the blob every time. Orange blob. That was a big fish. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, there we go. Green tournament. Just right on the pause. So we're going to take a quick break from catching all these fish and talk about some boating etiquette. I typically am a guy not to be that mean or rude on the water, and I still am not. But if I can hit you with my cast with a fly rod, you are way too close to me. Especially being in a float tube or a pontoon boat, you're heading backwards. You can't see where you're going. So anyone who has forward motion and forward mobility means they should be giving you the right of way. So this gentleman right here who comes by on his inflatable kayak should have taken the long way around, or hollered at me ahead of time and let him know he was coming through. It's not the end of the world. I caught plenty of fish, but it's just one indication of don't be that guy. Don't be the guy that is within casting distance. These fish in here aren't super spooky. Like I said, I catch tons of fish throughout the day. It's not that big of a deal. But I don't want to be that guy, and I don't want you guys to be those guys, because that's not very fun for anybody, and we don't want to ruin anyone's day.
Oh, there's.
Oh, finally ate something other than a blob.
Oh, wow, no lie. Oh, wow.
I'm going to call this section a bug break. So you'll see a little tiny, about size 18 Calvados come off right there. I caught him to land on my finger, and this lake is teeming full of those guys.
Ah, the rookie of the day. Ugh. Oh. Oh, great rainbow.
So this next clip is a fun clip because I actually get a double on this one. So it happens so every so often. I usually get a handful of doubles every year when I'm out Stillwater fishing, especially when you're fishing stocked lakes. There tends to be quite a few fish kind of schooled up. I think they think like they are still in the hatchery and they like to be in groups. Fish like to school in general, so right away I can kind of tell because you can see one fish go one direction and one fish go another. We got some jumping on it, so it's pretty easy to tell you got a double on. The hardest part for people with doubles is the net job, and so don't feel bad if you have a double on and then you lose the fish at the net. You usually get your top fish, but you can see it makes it really hard to net them when they are all over the place. So we get the first one in. The next fish, you just essentially have to hope that they stay on the line. So while I put that fish kind of to the side in the net, I just have to hand line that in, being mindful I have a third fly on the line, and I kind of have to just kind of plop him in there. So not easy to land doubles, especially if they're much bigger than this. Joy's a barbless hook, so I use barbless hooks on all my flies. All the flies just popped right out of the fish's mouth. And they may have destroyed my leader, but that's no bother. I can always retie. So, really cool to get a double. It's really fun. Gives you some bragging rights on that for sure. This final clip, I don't catch any fish. It is, as far as fishing goes, it's kind of lame. But as I kind of leave you guys with it here today, the fish started rising on Calabatus over here. Kind of in this northern shoal of the lake. And again, in one of the I think things that we all do when we fly fish is we're too lazy to make changes. What I should have done is took my other rod, took off the indicator leader, put on a dry fly leader, and started fishing Calabatuses. You can see them kind of rising all over the place out here, and I am trying to cover fish with a fast intermediate line and tungsten beads and blobs, hoping I can just elicit a strike because the fish are in the area. But they don't want anything to do with me. All they want is the Calabatus that are coming off. I think I switched to some Calabatus nymphs. Doesn't make much of a difference. So this is my day of fishing up here on this alpine lake. You can see the low trees. I might let some of the audio of the video play towards the end here, and you'll hear some people going out on their motocross bikes or their quads. So it's kind of a nice place to fish. It's over here in Central Oregon. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you'll know it just with a quick Google. I don't want to kind of spoil the fun of discovery from anyone. So, some notes I would leave this fishing trip with is be willing to change your flies and your setups. You might be able to catch a lot more fish. Don't get me wrong, I still caught a lot, but probably could have caught a lot more if I would have changed. Also, if you rewatch any of the videos and you watch all the clips right before the fish eats, you can see the indication within the line. It's one of my favorite things to watch for when I'm watching fly fishing videos is the line bite. So before the angler actually reacts and feels it, you can actually see the take, and you can see it a lot of the time, not just with an indicator, but actually see the intermediate line that I have on kind of straighten out or jut out, and it makes it really fun here to kind of go back and see that. I had fun editing it, so hopefully you guys will have fun watching it. Speaking of fun, if you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more of them, subscribe. I'm posting videos pretty consistently. I'm trying to post once a month. And we do everything from river fishing, stillwater fishing, ocean fishing, warm water. I kind of try to do it all, kind of run the gambit here in Oregon. It's an awesome place to go fly fishing, so I try to sample as much of it as I can when I'm out there. And plus, as you can see, the scenery is pretty hard to beat. So, as I said, like and subscribe down below. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Find me on social media at Garrett Lesko, or visit my website, OregonFlytying.com. Good grief, everyone. There you can reach out to me about questions, or if you want any additional information, or if you want me to tie the flies for you that you saw me use in this video, and saw me use in other kind of fly fishing videos or seen on my social media. I'm happy to do that for you. Alright, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.